Welcome to Barnyard Language, honest talk about running farms and raising families. We are Katie and Arlene, an Iowa sheep farmer and an Ontario dairy farmer, with 6 kids, 2 husbands, and a whole lot of chaos between us.
While this is a podcast for farm families, sometimes our content isn't for the whole family. So kick off your boots, reheat your coffee, and join us for some Barnyard Language.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Barnyard Language. And as always, I asked Katie what's going on. So I think last week she said it wasn't quite sheep or lamb watch time, but maybe this week it's lamb watch time. Is it lamb watch time, Katie?
Arlene, I'm working on a potentially career-defining project at work. A big project that one coworker and I...
Right. Important stuff.
Yes, very important. I'm flying to Chicago on Saturday. I will be back on the 20th because I was told, understandably, I'm not mad at you, dear, that there would be no lambs before the 20th. Absolutely not. I explained to my co-workers, my boss's boss, about how we had to hurry up and do this meeting so that I could be home before there were any lambs, and how it will be pretty wall-to-wall from March 20th through the end of planting and first cut hay, which is usually late May, right? So if they want this project done, we needed to meet like this week.
Right. If there had to be in-person stuff, it was going to have to happen now. Right. Did you tell the sheep?
We apparently forgot to tell the sheep because there's a lamb. By now, there may be more than one lamb.
Right. But there's definitely one before the 20th.
There's definitely one, and anyone who has livestock knows that low pressure systems, big storms, tend to shake some loose. The weather this week, I'm flying out Saturday. The weather this week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, perfect, gorgeous, amazing. Friday, pouring down rain and 25 degrees colder than it's been all week. As to how many lambs I think we'll have by Saturday morning, I mean, I got non-refundable plane tickets, so...
And this is a very important work trip, so you're going to go anyway.
Yeah, and my husband understands that, like, it's just, shit happens, we're livestock farmers, everybody knows it, but...
Lambs happen.
Yeah. We apparently neglected to hang the calendar up in the barn where the sheep could see it about what day they were supposed to lamb, because it was not yesterday. And more concerningly, that lamb sure doesn't look like it's 10 days early, which...
Right. Which might mean that the other sheep are on a similar schedule to the first one. Right.
Yeah. Their gestation is not that long, so 10 days is... not insignificant portion of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you might expect a lamb to be smaller if it was 10 days early. Gotcha.
Yeah. I mean, it's little, but it is fully cooked. Lambs that are even a few days early generally look not fully cooked. And this one is small, but she is very happy and healthy, which is excellent. Yeah, other than that, not a lot. Lots of mud. Lots and lots of mud.
Great for dogs and kids and floors.
Yeah. Dogs have been real tired. Kids have been real tired. It's good. Burn off some energy. How are things at your place, Arlene?
Things are going okay. There was a lot of snow this year, so we're still firmly in snow territory, but I think the mud is coming fairly soon. Once the snow melts a little bit more, we have some pretty big drifts that need to go away. It's March break here, so the kids are home this week. We don't have huge plans. We were just on vacation a couple weeks ago, so it was like, kind of forgot that wasn't their March break. So yeah, we have a few things planned. We're going to go and do some university and college tours with my 11th grader, so that feels like a big step. It's in part to try and kind of figure out even where his interests are. 16, 17 is such a hard age to figure out what you do when you want to grow up, because I'm in my 40s and I still don't know what I want to do when I grow up. But you have to choose courses now for next year that determine what courses you can apply for the next year. And so it's, I mean, anyone who has teenagers knows we're in that pipeline of having to try and make some decisions. So we thought that was something that we could do. So we're touring just a couple of the more local ones within, an hour and a half ish of home. So we can still fit chores in around that kind of stuff. And otherwise, not a ton. Some haircuts, get them to do some extra chores around the house and the farm. So that's a lot of fun for them. That same child who is starting to look at colleges was doing his driving test today. So fingers crossed, maybe he passed. And if not, maybe we'll book another one. We'll see. And yeah, so and we have a new baby Jersey. I think I've said before, we are a mostly Holstein herd, but we do have a small population of Jerseys growing. It started with one, now we have four, all from the same lady who started it all. So Peach just had another calf, and so little Champagne is adorable because this is the C year for names. So yeah, we have a little baby Jersey who is just the cutest. I mean, Holstein calves are adorable too, but there's just something about a Jersey. I don't know, those eyes, the lashes. We all know what I'm talking about. And if you don't, you can Google baby Jersey calves because they are the cutest.
Well, maybe we'll get real lucky and you could post a picture early.
Yes, I should do that.
Or a TikTok would be even better, a video.
Oh, gosh. Yeah. I could probably figure that out, too. We're trying to get savvy on the socials, 4 years into the podcast, but...
We're olds. Okay, you guys? We're olds.
We are olds, yeah.
We've never claimed not to be, so...
No, that is right. Well, why don't we introduce our guest for this week and let them take over the rest of the show.
All right.
Everyone has an origin story, but some stories hit you in the heart, and the story behind one of our past guests is totally one of those. It all started with a young kid named Kawani.
Yeah, Sean, the chicken guy short of Blooming Health Farms, didn't know he'd be a chicken farmer or that he'd be teaching you how to turn your flock into a business. It began with Kawani, a kid stuck in the court system who needed a second chance. He joined Sean at Blooming Health Farms to turn his life around.
One day, Sean showed Kawani how to sell fresh eggs at a local market. As Kawani started selling those eggs, Sean saw the real power in what he was doing. It wasn't just about the eggs. He was building skills and getting respect from the community. That one small act of selling eggs transformed his life.
And that's how Blooming Health Farms was born. Sean saw that selling eggs could be more than food. It could be a way to help others learn business skills and build their own futures. And now, through their online community called Pimp Your Flock, Blooming Health Farms is taking this mission even further.
Pimp Your Flock is a community for people who want to turn their passion for chickens into profits. You'll learn how to turn your flock into a real income source, and when you join, you're supporting Blooming Health Farms so they can help more kids like Kawani build a better future.
So if you're looking for a way to turn your flock into a business and be part of something bigger, join Pimp Your Flock at pimpyourflock.com. Not only will you learn the skills to make your egg business grow, but you'll also be part of a community that's changing lives.
Head over to pimpyourflock.com today and let's make an impact together, one egg at a time.
So today we are excited to be talking to Lizzie Thompson, who is joining us from Scotland. So Lizzie, we always start each of our interviews with the same question, and there's a baby in the room too. So if you hear some little baby noises, that's cool. It is a parenting podcast, so it's all good. So Lizzie, we start each of our interviews with the same question, and this is always a way for our guests to introduce themselves to our listeners. So we always ask, what are you growing? So for farmers, that's usually crops and livestock, but can also be kids and businesses and all kinds of other stuff. So what are you growing?
Lamb. Lamb's what we do really here. Yep.
Yeah. And you have a few kids?
Yeah, I've got 3 small children. Yep.
And what ages are they?
Jock is 3.5, Angus is 2, and Bonnie is 8 months.
Right. So not a lot of breathing room in between them.
No, I think it's 2 years, 9 months between the 3 of them. So yeah, quite tight, but they should grow up nicely together. So that'll be good.
And so when we're talking about animals, farmers are always curious about breeds and numbers and all that kind of stuff. So can you talk a little bit more about kind of how you run your how you run your lambs?
Yeah, it's quite. It's probably not the normal way we run our sheep. So until recently, all our ground is rented. We didn't own anything. We did just buy a farm just before Christmas, a very small farm, mostly just sheds and a couple fields. So we rent the rest of our acres, which would be over 1,000 acres across Ayrshire in Scotland. And we probably have around 1,200 ewes going to the ram this year. They're split into kind of two different flocks. We have one flock which we call a mule. So in Scotland, that would be a Scotch mule would be a blue-faced Leicester ram mated with a Scottish black-faced ewe, and then you get a mule which is like a blacky white broken face. So we have about 600 or so of those, and that's the main flock. And then we have another flock of Cheviots, which is another native breed to Scotland. It's like a white face type, smaller, shorter sheep, and that's called like a hill breed. And they've gone to the ram. Yeah, it's kind of a mixed breed ram. It's mainly for we're going to keep some of the ewe lambs off him as well, so they'll go into another flock later on.
And so when you're lambing out, are you doing everybody at the same time? Are you kind of staggered? That's a lot of animals that on lots of different places. So how do you kind of manage lambing season?
Yeah, so it's going to be it will be staggered. So this year we've got 200 to lamb in about a month's time. They're all coming in the shed in the next week or so, and then the second wave will be the mules, about 600 or so of those, at the first week of April. So we've just finished scanning all of those ones, and then the Cheviots and ewe lambs, they will lamb maybe like the 20th of April, I think it will be. So just a bit later on after that, and they'll mostly be outside. So that's what we aim for, lambing, especially the twins and the hill sheep outside later on in April, when you hope the weather will be good. Although last year the weather in April was shocking, and yeah, most farmers in Scotland didn't have a very good time of it.
Right, it was really wet last year, wasn't it? Like super wet.
Oh, it's serious. Yeah, it was serious wet. It was like, and we lambed everything outside last year. We didn't have any sheds, and that was just hard. Like, you're lying in bed at night thinking, oh my God. Well, I was pregnant at the time, so I wasn't out first thing in the morning, but yeah, my partner was, and yeah, it wasn't always that easy going out to the problems that there were.
Right, just to know what you're heading into. And so approximately how long are you keeping animals, and like how many you're keeping over for next year, and how many do you sell kind of in your flock management?
So yeah, all of the lambs off the mules, they go for meat, so they're all sold within mostly around 6, 7, 8 months of their life. And then off the Cheviots, we've kept all the ewe lambs last year, so we kept 300 ewe lambs, and some of them went to the ram, and anything that hasn't gone to the ram, that's gonna go into the food chain as well. So yeah, I've still got a few lambs left to sell, but yeah, not too many now. Hopefully they'll all be gone by the time we start lambing again. But the price of lamb in Scotland is like pretty crazy at the minute, so it's been worthwhile holding on to them.
Right. It's nice when you get a crazy good year rather than the crazy bad, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, yeah, it could go bad. Yeah, but I think there's like a general shortage of lamb just because of the previous lambing season, and there's just not enough lamb about just at the minute.
So, Lizzie, we raise sheep as well, my husband and I. We have hair sheep. We say Cheviot, but in Scotland you can say whatever you want. I know it's a regional thing. Are they the ones with the airplane ears that go like just, or do they have the bunny? Don't they have weird ears?
Yeah, they're not too big. We call that, well, one of the big ears we would call a border Leicester, I think. They're really big ears. But yeah, some of the Cheviots, the North Country Cheviots have kind of bigger ears, and the South have a slightly smaller ear, yeah.
I was just thinking our Katahdin's ears go sort of down and out, and I have a friend who I thought she had Cheviots, but their ears are like bunny ears that they just go straight up on top. They look,
right, okay, yeah.
They're funny.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That was deeply necessary.
I know that you and your partner are also both shearers. Do you continue to do that work as well in addition to your own sheep? Yeah.
Well, and not so much. No, I don't do much at all now. We were doing a few in the shed the other night, and I'll do a few of our own. But yeah, not with the children. I don't really go out shearing like I used to.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, might do. And well, when the kids are get a bit bigger, they might. But yeah, not now. Not now.
Yeah, I mean, 3 kids in 2.5 years. There's not a lot of time for shearing.
No, it hasn't been. No.
Shearing is right up there with horseshoeing in the list of things that make my back hurt just thinking about them.
I know. It could be.
Oh, that is a young person's game.
It's a lot of bending over. A lot of bending over.
So, what is your ag background then, Lizzie?
So yeah, I grew up on a farm in Devon, which is, I guess, the second most southwest county in England. And my mum and dad had a tenanted farm in Devon, and yeah, we started off with the sheep. We had sheep, we had cows. Then we've gone to chickens. We had laying chickens at one point, and then we've changed. And now my brother does free range organic meat birds and goats as well. So yeah, I grew up on a farm down in Devon, and then I went to university initially and did a degree in geography and zoology. Not sure what I wanted to do after that, and then I got into sheep shearing, and I spent 6 or 7 years traveling the world sheep shearing. So yeah, and then I met my partner at a speed shear in Scotland. And then a few years later, I went lambing for him. And then, yeah, that's how we started up here again.
So my first experience with speed shearing was when I was at the Highland Show actually in Scotland. I did not even realize that it was a sport. So for people who have not experienced shearing in the competitive sense, what does that look like, and how fast were you at your prime?
Not that fast, I don't think. Not speed. As the speed shearing and the show shearing. So speed shearing is like often like an evening after, like a nighttime thing. It's a bit of a social, and yeah, just speed. Shear the sheep as fast as you can. One sheep, and then pretty much that's the winner. Show shearing, I've done a bit more show shearing where there's obviously heats and semi-finals and finals and different grades, and you just need to shear the sheep. It's all to do with speed, but also the quality of the job as well. So when you're cutting the wool on the sheep, you want to be just cutting it once right on the skin. You don't want to be cutting halfway through the staple and then cutting again to take it all off. So it's quality and speed, and then yeah, the categories you work up from junior to open through that.
That's interesting to me because in so much livestock showing or competition, you're working with the same animal, and even with like cattle fitting, you're working with the same cow and improving your skills. Where with sheep shearing,
yeah,
you're gonna get a new sheep, obviously, because it's kind of a one and done sort of a situation.
Yeah. And sometimes like you want the batch of sheep in your class just to be as even as possible. Otherwise, someone might get a slight advantage, or the sheep might not be as even as you like them to be.
So you said you were traveling the world shearing sheep. How many countries? I'm guessing probably New Zealand and Australia would be kind of your main locations. Are there other places where you can work?
Yeah, I did Norway. I've done Norway a few seasons as well, and that's pretty much it. So we'd start off in, say you started in England, South England, in sort of end of April, May. You could do up till maybe June, end of June, and then you go up to Scotland when it starts to get warm up there. Do Scotland until sort of August time, and then would go home, and then a couple of weeks, and then get ready to go to Norway the first week of September. And most of the shearing I did in Norway was in the slaughterhouse. So they shear the sheep before it gets killed, just to make the maximum of the wool. The wool's worth a bit more out there than it is here. And then we sort of finished up in Norway sort of mid-November, and then I would go to New Zealand from then until March time, maybe early March. Come home, maybe do a bit of lambing, and then start again. So yeah, you could nearly shear for, like, if you want to, like 10 months a year, maybe more. And one year I changed it up, and instead of going to Norway, I went to Australia instead and did a season out there.
So on a typical day, or like kind of like a big day, how many sheep would the average shearer be able to do?
Oh, I don't know the average shearer, but like my best is about 300 a day.
Wow.
At my very best, so like probably not averaging about the 250 mark. Yeah, some top shearers are doing 400 or 500 a day easy. So
wow.
Yeah, they're very speedy. Very speedy.
So, Lizzie, kind of ridiculous question, but that's what I'm here for. When you're elbow deep in that much land, Lynn, for 10 months a year, how soft is your skin?
Yeah, it's probably softer than it is now, actually, because this wind.
I mean, it's a lot of land like getting rubbed in there.
Yeah, this winter chill and the wet and the mud now makes your hands a bit dry. But yeah, that lanolin keeps them pretty soft. Yeah, it does definitely.
It sounds a lot like the wheat run that they do in North America that guys will hire on for a crew, and go up to Western Canada and work their way south over the course of the season.
Yeah. There was a route. All the shearers are following a similar route around the world if they want to keep up with the sheep. Yeah.
So is it a huge party, or are people pretty wiped out by the end of the day?
Yeah, you get fit to it. Like obviously the start of the season is always a bit. You get a bit tired of it, but then once you get into it, then it's just your body's used to it. Your back doesn't hurt really, and you just get into the routine of it.
So you were saying before that you, until recently, were working exclusively on land that you didn't own. And I feel like that is a little bit more prevalent in the UK than it is here in North America. But I know we talked to a rancher the other day who's working exclusively on rented and leased property. How do you kind of manage all of those, I guess, both the relationships with the landowners and kind of keeping track of where all of your animals are?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think one year we had a whiteboard, maybe 2 years ago, and I think there was 22 different locations for the sheep to be at through the winter. So that was that was quite fun keeping up with them. Yeah, my partner, he has has all these bits of ground, and we follow around. Some places there's still like a retired farmer will still live there, and they like just to see the land being worked for sheep. And then maybe have a look over them if we don't get to every sheep every day. But yeah, like a lot of them are on like the same sort of routes. Like we'll drive the same roads and we can see the same amount of sheep. And yeah, and some bits are obviously quite big. Where the Cheviots are, there's 300 acres there. So that's all of them there in one place. So that does help too.
Do you have any advice for people who are thinking that they want to get started in ag, but maybe land ownership is out of reach right now? Do you have any thoughts on how, like, kind of what worked and what didn't in terms of when you guys were getting started?
I think my partner always says it's like just contacts. You just got to make your contacts, get in about the places. Like obviously being the shearers and my partner scanning and that, you're seeing lots of farmers and different people. And you just got people know what you're looking for. If you don't tell someone I'm looking for land, they'll never know about it, will they? So so you just need to let people know. And then if they know about something coming up, then they'll be like, oh, I heard so-and-so was looking for something. Maybe I'll just let them know that that's there, that sort of thing.
Yeah, that makes sense. Is some of your land just used seasonally, like would be used for other crops during the rest of the year?
Yeah, some of it's just winter. A lot of it's just winter because the cows come in the winter here. It's too wet to be out. So we get obviously more ground in the winter when the grass isn't growing quite as well. And then in the summer, there's a lot less different places to keep the sheep, but the grass is growing a bit quicker, so we don't need quite as many. And then the cows come out in the summer.
Right.
So yeah, that's the system here.
Doesn't work as well for where Katie and I live, since there's snow a lot of the winter. not much grass growing at all.
No. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Lizzie, I'd really like to reinforce what you said about making sure you tell people what you're looking for, because I feel like I see so much, networking, and young farmers are like, well, I met all these old farmers, but none of them, it didn't come to anything. I'm like, you met them, but did you tell them what you were looking for? Did you ask them for anything, or did you make sure they gave, they got your contact information or whatever?
Exactly. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It is a business. You do have to sell some.
Yeah. You can't just expect people to read your mind sometimes, can you?
Yeah, and I feel like sometimes as farmers, there's so much of that, like, don't tell other people what you're doing kind of thing, like that you almost have, you need to, the culture of keeping things kind of secret or under your hat. But I think in a lot of cases, it's not really necessary, right? Like sometimes you might be competing, quote unquote, against someone in terms of getting some ground. But for the most part, we're not competing against each other. We're all just trying to do our own thing. Are you a farmer or butcher ready to master direct-to-consumer marketing and meet success?
The team at ChopLocal is standing by ready to help. Sell your meat on the ChopLocal Marketplace. Check out all their free meat marketing educational resources at ChopLocal University. Hire the team to help you out or tune into their new podcast called Meat Success.
And remember, there's more than one recipe for meat success. Let us help you fine-tune yours today at ChopLocalUniversity.com.
How have you found continuing to farm and even doing any shearing with just the physical aspect of getting older and having 3 babies in pretty quick succession, which I had 2 pretty close together. It is definitely rough on the body.
Oh yeah, I don't know. Now I think like back to one, and one seemed quite easy now, and now you've got 3. It's not as easy. Well, I don't know. It's just I'm always quite like I still want to do as much as I was doing before I was pregnant. So it's like I always try and find a way that I will be able to do. People always said, "Oh, once you had the kids, no, you won't be doing this, you won't be doing that. Like, oh, that you won't get that much done, this, that, and the other." But I probably is a bit slower, and I probably can't get quite as much done in the day, but as I would, which is it's obvious, isn't it? But still get a lot done, and we still take the kids. The kids come with me mostly, so yeah.
So I have another question to add in here because it's one that I was thinking about this morning. I assume that you guys have working dogs, right? How many dogs do you have?
Just fighting to head trying to get a toy out of the table. Yeah, we just have the one main dog, which is Spot, and he's very good. We've only had him just a year, and we definitely didn't get him too early. Like he's been really, really helpful this year, especially like if you're trying to take the kids with you as well. If you have a dog that listens to you, that does the job that you want, it makes it a lot easier. And then we got a couple of other dogs that will come out in the summer just to help move big mobs and that when we need them, really. So yeah.
So I assume he's probably getting worked every day then.
Yeah, he's out every day with me. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I was going to ask how we take our Aussie down a few notches in intensity when it's the middle of winter and she's not getting worked, because she's kind of a lot, but
yeah, they definitely need a bit of work, don't they? They do like it.
Yeah, and I know, the more training resources I read, and they're like, don't just play fetch and run him, because then all you're doing is getting a dog who's in better shape with more energy. Okay, good point, but then what do we do with them?
Does your dog herd the kids too?
Not yet, no. I think he's a bit he can be a little bit shy, and I think the kids are a little bit too noisy and a bit much for him sometimes.
Yeah, they're more unpredictable than sheep. He's like, I understand the sheep. Those things, they don't do what I want. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But he is good with the kids, and he's good with the kids. I trust him, so it's nice to know that he's a good dog. Yeah.
So you mentioned your partner before, and now fiance, I guess, because I know I saw your engagement online, which is so he, I guess, is it his project or yours together? Is the sheep game kind of a combined effort, or?
No, the sheep game is him. He did.
But it seems like you, by virtue of being around, that you end up on camera some of the time. Are there days where you want to just say, like, turn the camera off and let's get this work done, or is it?
Yeah, definitely there was, and he'll. I'd say this, at the start, especially when they just started out and it was only small, and I was just like, all right, just get on with the work. Can we not just get on? We've got a lot to do today, especially if there's like a kid napping. I'm like, look, he's sleeping. Let's just plow on, get through the work before he wakes up or whatever. And then, but obviously it's become such a big business now for him. And it was obviously the big bit that bought our farm, helped us buy our farm. So yeah, we wouldn't have been here without the sheep game. So yeah, definitely appreciate it more now maybe than I did at the beginning.
Sure. Yeah, at the beginning where it's just like him yammering in the camera, it's like, okay, what is the purpose of this? Yeah. Do you guys, or have you discussed, especially as you've brought kids into the picture, kind of, do you have boundaries around what you share and what you don't when it comes to your family?
Oh yeah, I don't know. We haven't really talked about it yet, actually. No, I don't know. Like we are quite, I guess we are just quite open about what we're doing and what's happening. There'll be a few bits that we wouldn't show. Well, obvious bits you wouldn't show, but mostly we are quite, just whatever the kids are up to. I guess the one thing about other people watching online about what your kids are doing is like dangerous things. what you might think is not dangerous at the time, someone else or a lot of other people might think like that really dangerous. I'm like, is it? Or maybe it actually is. So those sorts of things you have to think about, and just obviously not breaking the law.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
I must admit I'm not as familiar with the sheep game, and now I'm wondering what you guys are doing that you're breaking the law in the first place. Or not breaking the law. What's going on over there?
Just the seatbelt's not on. Or they're not sheep rustling.
No, nothing like that. Jock does like to take his seatbelt off a bit more frequently than I would like. Yeah, those.
Well, especially when you're just going from field to field, right? I know I probably shouldn't say this, but I know like once we get onto our road, which is a gravel road and a dead end, like I kind of like as soon as we pass my in-laws' house, the kids are like starting to take seatbelts off. It's like we've still got a little while to go, like leave them on. But if we're just go to from grandma and grandpa's home, then usually they don't even bother. So yeah, it just becomes that habit of like, and you just tap the brakes a few times.
Exactly. Yeah, soon then. Yes.
I know our two keep trying to stretch the boundaries of how far we can go before they have to put seatbelts on, because it's like,
oh, definitely Jock's the worst. Yeah, like even though we were at the petrol station the other day, and like he took his off and started walking across the forecourt on his socks on. I was like, oh, get back in.
Yeah, exactly. Stay put for a few minutes.
Or I just have to take him everywhere now. I just have to take him out because otherwise he'll be out 2 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, and then soon he'll be releasing his siblings. Let's go.
He can. He has taken Angus out quite a few times. The next thing they will beep in the horn and the lights are flashing.
Yeah, you get locked out.
Yeah, he does that. He does that quite well. But he's actually quite good at letting me back in. He's never like refused to let me back in yet. So that's good.
That's good. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so since we're talking about your online life, how did you feel about getting proposed to on camera?
I didn't know it was that. People think, oh, I did see a comment where someone said, oh, if he was filming, then it wasn't a surprise. But like, because we're always filming, then it's not like, it's just normal. So it was a big surprise. I didn't see it coming at all. I don't mind. Like, it wasn't, my response wasn't too extreme. So it was fine. I didn't mind.
Yeah. You didn't drop the baby or anything.
No, I didn't swear too much either. So
yeah, that's right.
So I assume that you also didn't get a cleaned up, fancy, Instagram ready town proposal?
No, that's not us. That wouldn't be us. It'd be weird if we did that.
Yeah, Katie, they were giving a tour of their new farm. So there were no rose petals or candles when you walked into the last shed or anything.
When my husband proposed, Arlene, I don't think I've told you this, Jim proposed to me when I got home from milking. Proposed in the front yard and would not let me shower first. And I knew exactly what he was doing. And I was like, can I please shower? And he's like, no, I can't wait that long. But I'm covered in cow shit. Like, this will bring no romance, but it is pretty typical for us, I guess. So, pretty on brand.
Was on point. So Lizzie, being a parenting and ag podcast, we often talk to guests about kind of that time where they first became parents and how life changed, because it's inevitable that, life changes sometimes in big ways and lots of small ways too. So, I mean, it wasn't all that long ago when you had your first, but how did things change for you in those first days and weeks when you first became a parent?
I think, to be fair, we're coming to the end of the summer, so things were like easing off a little bit workload wise. I was able to spend a bit of time with Jock. So I don't know. I think I was just always going to take him with me, and that is what happened. Really, just came with me everywhere. I think he went a lot of time in the carrier initially, just on my back or on my front. A bit of time in the pram, but yeah, no, it just came with me, and I think generally we weren't. Maybe Cammy was about a bit more then as well, maybe. So yeah, we were doing things together a bit more, but now obviously his parts of the business have grown considerably. So yeah, he is away quite a bit more than he used to be, I think. So yeah, we go about a bit more.
And as the business has changed and as you've added more kids, how has that kind of have shifted both, how you do things? And I mean, like kids, when they're little and strapped to your body, can't get into too much trouble. But like, as we already said, as they get older, they get more mischievous and adventurous. So how has that changed how you do things?
Yeah, they definitely need a bit more entertaining now when we're about. But they go through phases. I feel like last year, yeah, it needed to take a lot of toys, have a lot to set up. Now they're not so bad. They like to help. Jock is definitely helping a lot more, and that keeps them engaged. Like there was a point where it was like that age where it's like, no, you can't touch that, don't do that, stand back there. This, and then they start to get a bit silly because they're getting a bit bored or they're just not engaged. But now he can open a gate, he can spray a can, he can bring you something, he knows what to do. So like they definitely much easier now. They're a bit more involved and they can do it. And then Angus, although he's younger, he still feels like he wants to keep up with Jock. So he's trying to do all the things that he's doing. So that is nice. And then we did get Jock a little quad bike for Christmas. So he's blasting around on that around the sheep now as well. So that keeps him busy. So yeah, no, it does change as they get a bit older. And Bonnie, she just spends a lot of time in the carrier at the minute, maybe, and a bit of time on the floor playing too. So yeah.
I know with our sheep, once my kids at least thought that they were helping, that changed a lot of things. Once we could give our daughter like a rattle can of marking paint and let her, mark the sheep, which, 90% of that paint ended up on me, but whatever, keeps them from losing their minds quite as bad.
No, it definitely does. They definitely want to be involved. And Jock was pulling the cord. We were shearing a few lambs in the shed the other night. He's pulling the cord on and off and putting a bit of wool in the bag. And yeah, just little bits they can do. And it does help.
Well, it's nice with sheep. I mean, obviously sheep are still dangerous. Like I'm going to be the last one to try and lie about that. But as far as the, I don't know, risk of fatality with sheep, I feel safer with my kids than I do with cattle. Just because, I mean, they're big, they can still hurt, but it's a little less.
Yeah, it'd be a slightly different game if we were working with cows all the time. And obviously the kids probably is a little bit more dangerous for them. Getting run over by a cow, it would be a sheep.
So what do things like childcare and routines and that look like for your family, and how has that changed as you've added?
So yeah, both the boys now go to a nursery 2 days a week. So they're there today. So that means I can do this. Otherwise, there'd be no chance. So yeah, they go. I think Jock went when he was just maybe like 15 months, and Angus went similar age. So yeah, they've both been there. Angus just about a year now. And they do that 2 days a week, and then I have Bonnie 24/7, which is fine. She's quite easy. And then they could go to school, I guess, when they're like 4 or 5, but I'm not decided on that yet, whether they'll go or not. So I think maybe Jock will have to decide in about a year or something. So we'll see what it looks like then, whether he'll go to school or not.
And are you thinking a delay in start, or are you thinking homeschooling, or have you decided yet?
I'm like 70% homeschool, I think, at the minute. I don't know. It's a tricky one. It's hard, like, because you have to just weigh up, like, as a whole for your family, like the pressure of it, or is there not actually much pressure on it? Is there more pressure trying to get to school all the time? The kids coming home tired and that, or do they get more out of just being a bit, especially for the boys? I think they just need to be a little bit more free than in a classroom a lot of the time. I don't know. Lots of opinions on it, I imagine, but yeah, we'll see.
I don't completely know, but I think too that compared to where I live, that they're pretty strict in the UK in terms of kids missing school because around here, like if there's something interesting happening on the farm, it's not a big deal to just call in and say that they're going to miss school for the day. Like it's really not an issue, but I've heard that that there are like they're much stricter about attendance and getting fined if they're not there and stuff.
I know at least around here in our small rural school, calling in for tractor shows is not unusual. We are not the first time people who've called off for that. Is there the same cultural pressure in Scotland that if you're just staying home with your kids and just farming, that it's like some horrible thing to send your kids to do you call it nursery? Is that right? We'd call it daycare, but I'm never sure if it's the same thing. To have any help so you can actually get your actual work done.
Yeah, like I feel like I'm working 7 days a week nearly. So, and I feel like and, and I feel like I take my kids to work.
Yeah, Katie was using quote marks on that. It was yeah, for the listeners, yeah.
We would never expect other business owners to take their kids to work with them. Like,
no, and I also appreciate that like other businesses you can't take your kid to work. It just doesn't work. So I do feel very lucky that like we have the opportunity to take my kids to work. I can look after them. I can still get the jobs done. So that is a bonus for us, I feel. Obviously, other businesses, you just can't take your kids to work, and they do have to put them into daycare or nursery.
There are a certain number of hours that would be government funded, though, right? Is that correct? Some of it is.
Yeah, well, Jock. So Jock turned 3 in September, and he get up the term after he turns 3. So he didn't get the funding till January just now. He gets 30 hours a week funded. It does kind of, people think, well, you could use a nursery where it's 9 till 3, an average school day, and that'd be 5 days a week. But we're going to stick with the nursery that we're at, and so he just does 2 full days a week, and that works out just exactly the same. So yeah, just get 2 days a week, 8 till, I think he could get 8 till 6 if he wants, and that's how much the funding would allow for all year round. So yeah. That does help a bit now because obviously Angus is a nursery as well, so the cost does soon add up a bit.
Yeah, I think around here in Arlene, I feel like it's the same maybe in Canada, that there's a fair amount of pressure that you're, a bad mom if you're sending your kids off somewhere when you're just farming or, just have other kids at home or whatever. And it's bullshit.
Yes and no. I mean, I definitely know families who do both, like whose kids were in daycare while they farmed, and other people who kept them with them all the time. So yeah, I'm sure it depends on a lot of it on availability too, right? Like if you live close to somewhere where there are options, then that's a whole different story. Then there's lots of places where there's where you, by the time you drove to daycare and got back to the farm, it wouldn't really be worth it.
Yeah, true. Yeah, we're very lucky. It's like 10 minutes for us to our one, so that's quite handy. Yeah.
What is your favorite thing about raising kids with a connection to the land and to agriculture?
Oh, I love watching them. Just once they can do the job, like the little jobs that you can do, it's just it's so good to watch them do all those little things. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And just for the future, like how else are you gonna get? Hey, Bonnie. Hey, you. How else are you going to get kids into farming if they don't? Like, I think you have to grow up in it. Otherwise, it's harder to get in. It's harder to I don't know. It's like hard to get into it if you're not grown up in it. You can get into it, but it's just trickier, I think, and it's harder for you to fully get involved if you're not brought up in it sometimes. So yeah, hopefully we're breeding the future farmers. Yeah.
So, what is your biggest parenting struggle these days?
Oh, I would say it's a battle between trying to get the work done in the time frame, want to get it done, but also allowing the children to not feel rushed, have time to just be children and play and do what they want to do. So if I can try and do both at the same time, then that's working well. I've just got to stop for a bit and let the kids be kids, play in the puddle, or take a bit longer to do the feeding because they want to do it, then that's fine. Other days, no, I'm just doing the feeding and we're getting on to the next group, and that's sometimes just the way it goes. But yeah, my biggest battle would be, I want to do all the work I still want to do, but I want the kids to have the time to be kids as well. So yeah, that is my battle, I guess.
Do you have a piece of parenting advice that either you've learned along the way or someone shared with you that you would want to share with other farm parents?
Oh, I don't know. I think you can always do more than you could always do a little bit. Not more than you think you can do, but you're always capable of more than you thought you were initially. Like when you had the one child and you thought that was a lot, and you were trying to do the work, and then you had 2, and you still managed because you now got 2, but you thought 1 was a lot, and then you got 3, and you can still do it. So yeah, you can always just in your mind you can always do it if you want to.
Yeah. Sometimes we convince ourselves that the next thing is going to be impossible.
Exactly. You'll never be able to. Hey, cheeky, cheeky. Yeah, cheeky, cheeky. You made your way over here, didn't you? You made your way over here, Bonnie.
Look at that sweet face. So, we ask all of our guests, if you were going to dominate a category at the county fair, what would it be? And categories can be real or made up to ensure that you win.
Oh God, no! I'm not very good at anything like that. No, I can bake. I can bake. I can do a bit of baking. I would have a go at baking, maybe if that's a category.
You can make up your own.
Or childcraft. In childcraft.
I think that works. Or like come to North America and beat everybody at shearing because you'd still be faster than a lot of people around us.
The sheep are quite different. Well, I don't know. Are they quite different in America? I feel like the wool is a little bit more dense than it is here.
I have no idea because I have hair sheep. We're seeing, at least in our area, a lot more hair sheep because people are raising them for meat, and the American wool price is so bad. And I think just it's gotten so hard to find shearers that it's,
Yeah.
But yeah, I would imagine it's probably different. I know
is it merinos? Is there like merino cross type sheep or not really? I don't know.
I think so, but I think it's a more specialized thing to do merino because my understanding is the wool has to be kept really clean.
Right, yeah, it does, yeah.
In production, and I think a lot of our sheep aren't, I don't know, are in wilder, rangier land. But I guess I don't know. I should find out. We should find an American wool producer and ask them.
Yeah. My father-in-law used to have some sheep, but they've been gone for a few years now, and I didn't have much sheep working experience with him. They were mostly inside, safe from the coyotes.
Okay, we don't have so many, especially for like adult sheep. We wouldn't have any real threats to them over here. I guess that in the lambing time, it's like foxes for the lambs.
Right. Yeah, but nothing big enough that could take an adult.
Nothing big enough to take you, really. No.
So we'll go ahead and move into our cussing and discussing segment. So for listeners, if you want to submit one, you can use our SpeakPipe or our email, and those are both in the show notes. Katie, what do you have to cuss and or discuss this week?
This is a really petty one, Arlene, but I made my cup of coffee this morning, and I don't know if I didn't rinse the soap out of something, or if I burned my coffee, or if the hot mess that is 2025 has just, infected my coffee. My coffee tastes really bad, and I'm just kind of sad about it. I'm not going to lie.
Well, I mean, the good thing is coffee's not very expensive. You can just dump it and start over.
Yeah, but I made a whole pot.
Oh, you can still dump it and start over. It's mostly water.
No, I can't. Yeah. Anyway.
It's sad when the first thing in the morning that you go to is not what you're expecting. Bonnie, do you have something to cuss and discuss?
Thank you.
Lizzie, what would you like to cuss and discuss today?
Oh gosh, no, I'm not sure now. Oh no. Oh gosh.
Now she's very happy. I'll go ahead with mine, Katie. Yeah. So mine is, so we're recording at the beginning of February, and back when, just as the Christmas holidays were ending, winter break was ending, the computer system within my whole kids' school board got hacked. It was one of those ones where they demand money and they infiltrated all the things. And so still there are parts of that system that aren't working, which is just every time you go to do a thing related to school, it's oh, that doesn't work, or that doesn't work, or that doesn't work. And for the kids, especially my high schoolers, so much of their stuff has moved online that it's meant just a lot of adapting, which is not a bad thing. But it's just been really frustrating to see how much chaos that has created for all the school employees and for the systems where we, keep track of kids' attendance, and even little stuff like doing their pizza order. Now we're back to using paper and checks where, that's fine, but we had moved, there was an app and all you had to do was submit your order and use PayPal and all those types of things that we're getting easier. And now they wiped it all out. So, and I mean, there's also people whose security got, thankfully, for most of the families, their like financial information wasn't in there, but like teachers and other employees of the board, then their information got accessed, and yeah, just a big old mess. So, boo to hackers.
Okay, right, I'll go for so we don't normally shear in the winters. It's quite unusual, but we have shorn 3 times in the last month, and I still can't find my moccasins, which is like the special shoes you wear, because we've moved house. So I thought, oh, we'll wear them. I'll find them next time. I don't want to buy any more. I'm not going to open a new pair. So second time, we still can't find them. And then I was sure I'd seen them somewhere else, but no, the third time, and I still can't find them. So I've just shorn in my socks for the last few times, but I'm determined to find them instead of buying another pair.
Yes, someday they will appear.
They're just between the house moves somewhere, I think.
Yeah, I bet. Well, we want to thank you so much, Lizzie, for joining us today. If people want to learn more about you and your family or check you out online, where should they go?
I am on, it's called Farming Born and Bred. It's on YouTube. I post videos on there when I have time, if I have time. I try to do it relatively regularly if I can. And then there's Facebook, it's Farming Born and Bred as well. And then I'm on Instagram as well. It's Lizzie.Thompson.52, I think. But yeah, but Facebook, I'll probably put a bit more on there than Instagram anyway.
That is great. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you, Bonnie. You've been very accommodating.
Thank you for having me. Bonnie, you gonna say bye?
Oh, she's got the remote. Yeah, she's ready to go now. So many buttons. Oh, those cheeks. Thank you so much for making the time for us today.
No, thank you very much for having me.
Thank you for joining us on Barnyard Language. If you enjoy the show, please support us on Patreon with a donation.
Big thanks go out to our show editor, Krista Paffrath at the Rural Podcast Network.
Please rate and review the podcast wherever you listen, and follow the show so you never miss an episode.
If you want to connect with other farming families, join the private Barnyard Language Facebook group.
We are always in search of future guests for the podcast. If you or someone you know would like to chat with us, get in touch.